Good evening, I'm Eugene Chan and welcome to Straight Talk. Just last week, the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education Examination, DSE, results were released. And this year, 38.5% of all candidates, or nearly 16,400 students, met the minimum entrance requirements for Hong Kong's 8 public universities. Amongst them, there were 16 top scorers from 14 different schools, the highest number recorded since 2012. Tonight, we begin a special 2-part series featuring some of these graduates and explore the question, can our education system deliver Hong Kong's future leaders? We hear their personal stories, their challenges, and their insights into the system that has shaped them. We have Kelvin Wong and Carmen Fong in the studio with us. Welcome to both of you. So Kelvin, maybe we'll start with you first. So which school are you from and how do you do in this year's DSE?
Thank you, Dr. Chan. So I'm Kelvin Wong, and I took the DSE this year, and I graduated from St. Paul's Co-Educational College. So I do the electives physics, chemistry, biology, as well as math module 2, and I got level 5 and 2 stars in all subjects, including my electives, and that is 7 subjects in total.
Right, and Carmen?
I'm from the True Light School of Hong Kong, and this year I took Geography, Economics, Biology, and Mathematics External Part Module 1. So I got 5-star in all subjects except Math Module 1. Right,
so were the results sort of a surprise to you, or you kind of expect this good results?
Definitely it surprised me.
Right.
I was literally over the moon when I was told that I became one of the top scorers this year. And I think Chinese and biology are the 2 subjects that surprised me the most.
Right. So Kelvin, I know both of you have been having a few interviews. So how do you feel so far as the champion or the top scorer?
Well, I mean, I'm a bit overwhelmed because personally, I really didn't expect me to become a top scorer as well, because I feel like this year's papers were particularly challenging, like amongst all the cohorts of the DSE curriculum. So I was really excited to be one of the top scorers. And yeah, I'm also very grateful to become one of the best performers in DSE this year.
Right. Actually, I met one of the DSE sort of also graduates this year during my professional practice yesterday. And they said to me the questions are actually quite difficult compared to previous years. But interestingly, you have the highest number of sort of champions of this. So why do you think this happened?
I would say it's probably because with the syllabus now changing from changing LS, Liberal Studies curriculum, changing it to the Citizenship and Social Development curriculum, probably students have more time that they can allocate to the electives so that they have more time to revise. And so we see more top scores this year. I think this is the highest number of top scores that we're having amongst all the DSE cohorts that we've had in the previous decade, yeah.
Right, Karen, how about your schoolmates? How did everybody go?
I think this year, because every form have different culture and maybe atmosphere in learning. So this year for my form, I think my peers actually performed pretty well in their DSE, yeah, especially in economics and geography, because this year we really like to share our notes and learning tips with each other.
Right, I think we'll ask you more about the tips later.
Yeah.
I know that both of you have participated in a lot of competitions, and especially like嘉揚or Kelvin, you were a bronze medalist in the Chinese Physics Olympiad. What exactly is that competition?
Well, so I've been a member of the Hong Kong Physics Olympiad team for the past 2 or 3 years, and basically they would select team members every year to participate in local and also regional competitions, including the Asian Physics Olympiad or the Chinese Physics Olympiad that I went to, and it's basically a national competition that gathers students from all over the country. And this year we went to Shanghai together to take part in the physics competition, and then the top scorers in that competition will be selected further into the National Physics Olympiad team, yeah.
How much time do you have to allocate to sort of prepare for competition?
I would say because I have to deal with my DSEs and also my university applications at the same time. So when I was preparing for the Chinese Physics Olympiad, I didn't have that much time. So basically only every weekend I would go to the HKUST to attend training sessions and also lectures from the trainers of the Physics Olympiad team, yeah.
Right, so would you say that has it helped your DSE results?
I would say maybe it's not about my DSE results, because the DSE physics curriculum and also what we study for the physics Olympiad curriculum, they may be quite different, like the content covered. But I would say that by joining these competitions, they've actually trained my critical thinking skills and also my problem solving skills that I would say have equipped me and well for my university studies in the future, probably.
Right. Karen, you also participated in innovation and technology competitions as well. So how do you find those?
So I've actually participated in the Hong Kong Student Science Project competition.
Right.
And I think these competitions, it's very inspiring because you get to see what other teams from other schools, what they have done and how they presented their project to you. And I think through these projects, not only can we train our skills in, for example, STEAM projects and making science-related research topic, but also it trains our soft skills like communication and presentation skills.
Right, I know both of you are students of the Hong Kong Academy of Gifted Education, and I must declare my interest. I'm the chairman of the the advisory committee. This program, this school is actually hoping to release the potential of our students. So how have you found the training at the Hong Kong Academy of Gifted Education so far?
I would say that the Academy has helped me a lot in terms of joining extracurricular programs and activities, because the Academy actually collaborates with a lot of local institutions, including local universities, to conduct training programs and also, in general, extracurricular activities for secondary school students. And it also offers opportunities like research projects or students' own research initiatives, etc. So these would actually really expand my horizons and offer me the opportunity to explore my interests outside of the school curriculum. Yeah.
Right. So Karen, I'm going to ask you that question that you brought up earlier. How do you think that having such good results, if you're going to share with the viewers, what type of tips would you say or factors that you think has helped you to achieve this result, or even amongst your classmates? I mean, and also, I think it's very stressful as well in DSE. How do you manage that and the stress?
So I think, as what I've previously mentioned, I think that sharing tips and discussing academic topics with your friends, maybe just have a little debate about an interesting and difficult DSE question, really helps train our thinking and analytical skills. Mm-hmm. And besides, I think in order to manage stress and also maybe revision, I think watching animation or maybe drawing is some kind of ways for me to relieve my stress and also to manage, to have motivation for myself to continue with my studies.
All right. Kevin, any tips?
Well, I would say that the DSE, preparing for DSE is certainly very stressful as well. So yes. For me, I actually have been practicing fencing for more than 10 years.
Yeah, you told me about that earlier.
Yeah. Well, so even during my study break, I would probably go to fencing like once a week or like once every 2 weeks, so that I can relieve my stress and see my buddies at the fencing club that I was going to. And sometimes I listen to music as well, just to free my mind from all the DSE, from all the subjects that I'm studying, and obviously from all the stress that I've been under since Form 6, I would say, yeah.
So how has our recent success with Zhang Galong in fencing has it motivated you more? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's great to see the popularization of fencing in recent years because of Zhang Galong and probably Vivian Kong as well.
Yes, yes.
So the fact that Hong Kong athletes have attained such good results at the Olympics and also other fencing tournaments and competitions, what I observe is that lots of kids or people have been going into fencing these years, and yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Right, okay, let's talk about your future plans. Let's start with Karen. I mean, what is your life plan? And what I know that you'll be going to London School of Economics and Political Science, LSE, and tell us, what are you going to do there, and why do you want to go to LSE in London?
So I would like to study environment and sustainable development with economics in LSE. And the reason why I would like to study in UK, it's because I think first of all, I'm passionate in studying topics related to sustainable development. And I also plan to pursue work in this field. And also the reason why I would like to go to UK, it's because I think it's going to provide me with a really great opportunity to have case studies of what the European countries or maybe the UK have been implementing about what environmental policies they have been implementing.
Right, have you considered Hong Kong at all?
So I do have considered having master degrees in Hong Kong University, but I'm still exploring and I'm still looking up online, like which one is better. So I do think that studying my undergrad degree in UK does help me to, explore more about the differences in different cities, like how it was like. Yeah.
Right. You got plans coming back to Hong Kong after that?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So I do plan to have my careers in Hong Kong and to live in Hong Kong after I finish my studies in UK.
Right, Kelvin, I was assume you'd be doing something related to physics since you've done very well. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true.
And you'll be going to?
Cambridge for natural sciences, yeah.
Yes. And what is your plan? Are you just going to be a scientist, or you want to be commercialize anything with physics and be an entrepreneur? What is your plan?
Well, that's the field I'm going to explore in university probably, because I'm mostly interested in physics as well as climate science. And really climate science is really like a hot topic nowadays because of all the attention that it is drawn from the public. So I would say that at university, I'll try to explore what I can do in the fields of research as well as education and also awareness raising that is facing more of like the public, for example. So I would say that after university, I do have plans to probably conduct research on my own as well as to foster the local STEM community here in Hong Kong, but that's maybe I'll consider that later, yeah.
Right, maybe we'll take a short break now, and viewers, stay with us. We will be right back. Thank you for staying with us. We have been exploring the question, can Hong Kong's education system deliver our future leaders? And we have Kelvin Wong and Carmen Fong, two DSE champions with us this evening. So in the first half of the program, we discussed the work that you have done, the result that you have achieved, and your personal plans. But one question I'm sure the viewers will want me to ask you is that a lot of people believe that when you make education choices, they always link that with the future livelihoods, and that's the reason why many top scorers in the past have opted for more professional fields like medicine. There used to be a lot of doctors. I'm not saying they're not good, but I'm saying all the top scorers will want to do medicine or dentistry, as a matter of fact. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, because you'll be doing more or less like economics and all that is not as lucrative as those subjects. Have you considered the livelihood at all?
Yes, indeed. So, but whether or not I'm concerned about my future career path, I would say I'm not so concerned, because I believe that right now the importance and significance of SDGs like Sustainable Development Goals and environment, social governance, these topics are rising in Hong Kong, and I do believe that after I finish my studies in UK, when I come back to Hong Kong, I do think that there is a lot of opportunities for me to engage in these industries. Right,
Kelvin, I mean, more so you're in the physics, you'll be like a scientist.
Yeah.
Is that what you are after in your career?
Yeah, well, I do agree with Karen on the point that nowadays sustainable development is being brought up more often. So I feel like nowadays in the age of information, the societal demands that we're having are really shifting very rapidly. So in the past, when we talk about prestigious jobs like doctors, as you have mentioned, or lawyers, they would probably be associated with some of the very urgent societal needs. But nowadays with stuff like AI or like quantum computing on the rise, probably we also need more investments into basic research. So yeah, I would say I'm optimistic about my own career prospects.
I must say that personally, I think if you have the opportunity to study abroad, especially at such prestige institutions, I think it's a wonderful opportunity that you should engage on, because Hong Kong is always home, and we have a lot of leaders in Hong Kong who are from overseas training as well. So I see that it is a good move personally, but of course everyone's situation is different. But having said that, a lot of people saying Hong Kong's education system doesn't really develop leaders, but obviously if they have listened to our interviews today, I'm sure they would disagree that we have very good leaders here. So how would you criticize Hong Kong's education system if I want you to, Kevin?
Well, I would say it's commonly perceived that the Hong Kong education system in general, or maybe the DSE, puts less emphasis on allowing students to express their, say, creativity, because, say, like in the DSE curriculum, we don't have that big of a component that consists of projects or students' own thoughts, like it's mostly paperwork. But I would say that from my own observation in recent years, when I was doing the past papers to prepare for the DSE, obviously, the examination board has really been incorporating more elements of critical thinking as well as higher order thinking into the papers. Like they don't require students to just regurgitate their knowledge, but also to employ analytical skills when they're answering the papers. So I would say that, of course, the education system has probably some of its weaknesses, but I would say that it's been evolving, and I foresee that it's going to continue to evolve in the upcoming years.
Right, Karen, what will be Hong Kong's education strength?
So I think Hong Kong education system do have a lot of strengths. So one of them I can think of is the bilingual and trilingualism settings and design of curriculum, because it really equips students with the necessary language ability for them to thrive and succeed in Hong Kong or maybe in mainland or in Western countries. So I think language skills, it's really one of the strengths that Hong Kong students have.
Right. So Kelvin, in the last few years, Hong Kong has gone through quite significant changes. I mean, unfortunately, we had a riot in 2019. We had a stretch of COVID, and a lot of people saying that Hong Kong's young people are behaving in a different manner than what the society were expecting. I mean, going through exactly that same system. If I'm going to ask you today, what is your views of Hong Kong future? How will you answer me?
Well, in general, first of all, I would say that I'm optimistic about it, because if you look at the global community nowadays, there are increasing geopolitical tensions as well as other social issues and political issues that have been going on in the global community. But Hong Kong, because of our strengthened ties with the country and also the international community at the same time, we're able to retain our unique position in the global community. So obviously, there are challenges ahead, but if we can convert these challenges into opportunities, and I would say as a young person myself, I would say that I also have the responsibility of entering society and contributing as a member of society. So I would say that it relies on collaborative efforts to make Hong Kong continue to improve in the future. Yeah.
Right, Karen, what do you think of Hong Kong? I mean, maybe in 10 years' time from now, because you'll be studying at least for 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
You could be doing a master, but you're doing in sustainable work. How do you see Hong Kong as a city, from your view?
So I think in the coming 10 years, definitely there will be more and more collaboration between Hong Kong and mainland or maybe other countries. And I think these kind of opportunities that these collaboration provided Hong Kong is definitely gonna make me feel confident about Hong Kong's future, because I think in the coming 10 years, Hong Kong will become more and more important for sure as the global financial center, because it actually serves as a super connector between mainland China and the world.
Right, since you mentioned the mainland, Kevin, I'm going to ask you that at top students, I mean, you guys are, I mean, you don't have to be the point I want to ask is, we talk about the mainland integration and in the Greater Bay Area. Do you see you yourself or your friends working, living, or having a career in the GBA, or you think Hong Kong will be the base?
Well, I would say that connections between Hong Kong and the other cities in the GBA, as well as the whole country, is definitely inevitable in the upcoming years, because now that we're developing the northern metropolis, I would say that as a science and tech student myself, I do foresee lots of opportunities, employment opportunities, research opportunities in the northern metropolis, closer ties with Shenzhen, obviously. So I do have an optimistic view about Hong Kong developing more connections with mainland China in general.
Right, Karen, you just mentioned that it's good to have debates amongst your friends.
Yes.
Has the topic of Greater Bay Area ever come into discussion so far?
So I think my peers and I do have, some of my friends also would like to engage in, have studies in sustainable development or maybe environmental protection related degrees. And sometimes we may discuss, maybe sometimes Greater Bay Areas can collaborate with Hong Kong to have some policies together and maybe to build some infrastructures that is related to environmental protection.
Right, do both of you go off to Shenzhen for a weekend or for a meal at all?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we do, yeah.
How do you find that so far?
I would say it's kind of similar but also different from Hong Kong, because there are new experiences. For example, I sometimes go to Shenzhen with my friends to play room escape in Shenzhen. So right. Yeah, it's kind of a different experience from what you see in Hong Kong, yeah.
Okay, maybe let's look further beyond what we have discussed so far. We have talked about your careers, we've talked about your thoughts of coming back, mainland China and everything. So, I mean, because this program does have a lot of the government leaders, even the chief executive, do watch a program sometimes and to get perspectives. If I'm going to ask you, what will you suggest to the government in terms of education-wise? Let's start with education. What can the education what can we do to make it even better to equip more students? What would you say to that?
In my opinion, nowadays, given how popular the internet is, I mean, basically every student in Hong Kong has a chance of using the internet to study. So it would be great if the government, or say like the EDB, could allocate more resources to promote learning resources on the internet, like official ones issued by the EDB, so that they can kind of break information barriers between students from different schools, because the resources they have at different schools may be vastly different. But as long as the government provides support for these students on the internet, then I would say that the accessibility and the coverage would be improved significantly.
Right, Karen, anything beyond education that you can think of?
I think beyond education, if it is possible, the government can provide young adults, for example, fresh graduates, with some internship programs or maybe mentorship programs, and provide them with the opportunity to connect with experienced people from the field that they are going to study.
Right. Since you guys have been able to answer all my questions, I'm going to ask you even more difficult ones. What would you say will be Hong Kong's should be having the most priority on in terms of social issues? What do you see the problem now? I mean, it looks like the housing seems to be under control now. I mean, what else do you see as the main problem?
I think because I'm interested in environmental protection and sustainable development related topics, so I think I myself is pretty concerned about the air pollution issue. So maybe the government can prioritize in carbon emission reduction or maybe improvement of air quality.
Right. So we know that the chief executive is having his policy address in September. As a young person, top scorer, what will you say to the chief executive today?
Well, that's a really big question, but since I'm most interested in science and also climate science in particular, I would say that one of Hong Kong's biggest challenges in the upcoming years is definitely going to be her long-term plan to combat climate-related risks, because obviously we're seeing more and more extreme weather events that are happening to our city recently. So I would say that if the government could formulate a more comprehensive plan to combat climate change and also other associated risks in the upcoming years, maybe even up till 2050, and that would be great because that ensures sustainable development for Hong Kong in the future.
Right, Karen, what would you say to the CE?
So I think if it is possible, I would hope that and I would wish that the government can expand on the opportunities for youngsters, young people to thrive and to succeed, because sometimes they may find it difficult to climb the social ladder. So if it is possible, I really wish that the government can provide more support for them to enhance their social mobility.
Right, I'm afraid that's all the time we have, and I wish I can speak more with you. So thank you very much, Karen and Kelvin, for sharing your experiences with us. Both our DSE students are a great example of how Hong Kong's education system can deliver our future leaders. Until next time, I'm Eugene Chan, and thank you for watching Straight Talk.